Here.
Jordan,
Here.
Murray,
Here.
Nolan,
Here.
Reese. 7 present, 2 absent.
Okay, moving on to the approval of minutes. The minutes of the regular meeting held January 21st, 2025 are attached. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item B, minutes of the special meeting held February 11th, 2025 are attached. Entertain a motion to approve these.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, moving on to our reports. Do we have a student report tonight?
We do not.
No student report tonight, Mary Elise.
Okay, thank you. We'll go to the administrative reports then.
Does anyone have any?
I have one brief thing. I just wanted to let the board know that our special education monitoring that was supposed to happen today and tomorrow has been postponed. They will give me some more information when they have it, but it didn't happen yet, so I'll let you know. I'll let you know.
I have a couple things I just want to add. First, I'd like to give a shout out to Tori Marotti, who was selected as our most recent student of the month. Congratulations to her. Our boys varsity basketball team is in the first round of playoffs tonight at SCHS, so that's exciting. Over the weekend, we had the varsity girls wrestling team compete at districts, and we had Kayla Fowler and Emmeline White qualified to move on to regionals, not this weekend, but the following weekend. And in boys varsity wrestling, we had 5 students qualified to move on to districts this coming week. Andrew Capek, Colt Wade, Wyatt Bagley, Keegan Bagley, and Lane Price. So congratulations to all of them. And I'm super excited to announce that I just got confirmation Sunday night that we will be taking the high school students to the toboggan slide on Friday during the day. So that's permission slips went home today, and we're super excited to have that opportunity for them as well. And thank you to the Eaglesbury Volunteer Fire Company for allowing us to come, and to the Dewshore and LaPorte, Eaglesbury Lions Club, and we've also reached out to Kiwanis Club and student government for helping us make this possible. So thank you.
That's awesome. Congrats to all the athletes, and good luck to the boys tonight. And it's great news about the slide. Thanks, Lynn. I don't know if there's anyone else who has something to add, or Doug, if you want to get started.
Yeah, we can get started. In the back of your folders, I've included a printout of the comprehensive plan, and then my board report. I could have you guys in the front so everyone can hear. So this is the way it prints out from that website. So if anyone has any questions, I can throw it up on the screen, both of them on the screen. But we'll start out with the curriculum committee discussed the 3 goals. We met with the steering committee for the comprehensive plan. The administrators have been working to articulate those goals, and that's what we'll first go over here this evening. So just a little format in here. The way the comprehensive plan is, it just starts out, you have your steering committee, a profile of the district, and then it starts talking about what our performance has been on the PSSA. That's the first, that's the ready section.
So we have to analyze all the data from the most recent assessments and the Future Ready PA Index. which includes PSSA keystones, number of kids participating in AP exams, our attendance, graduation rate, reaching our career benchmarks, and we have to analyze all that data and include our strengths and weaknesses or challenges into the system, and that's what the first couple pages are.
And while that is taking place, we are also running the staff survey and the community survey. So we take the data analysis and look for patterns with the community input and staff input as well. So eventually it all funnels itself through to us creating the goals. We have selected 3 goals for the district for the 3-year plan. We'll kind of walk you through those.
So the first goal, I know it's come up in conversations at board meetings about the website. We know it's a concern. So we have planned to work on, excuse me, let me step back a minute. We want to improve community engagement, which includes communication with all stakeholders in the district. So one of the first things under that we want to focus on is improving the website. We did have a new website last summer. We would like to tweak it and make it more user-friendly, and things won't be in there multiple times, and it should be easy for families, parents, community members, board members to find stuff on the website. That is something we have scheduled to work on this summer and plan to have it finished by the opening of school at the latest September 1st.
And it's not just the website, it's the use of the website. And it's also the Facebook page, but it's setting up those programs within the schools, the frequency, the
Yeah,
types
I'm
of...
going to get to that.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
because the first part is...
29.
Yes,
that
it's
is-
29. The first part is that getting the website so it is more user-friendly. And then we're also going to develop a district-wide communication plan for the frequency of when things are posted, who's responsible for posting what. And so we can keep the community, families, the board, everybody up to date on information. We try to do that now, and it's kind of, we would like to have a better plan as to you're responsible for this, you're responsible for that. And I think that will make community engagement better for everyone, for us at the school and for families in the community.
The second goal is focusing on continuous improvement of instruction. So this is the goal that a lot of our local and state assessment data is kind of funneling into. So we are planning on effectively implementing a multi-tier system of supports. You will hear us refer to that as MTSS. Framework within the district by the end of the 2028 school year, focusing on academic and behavioral supports across the 3 tiers. So currently, we already have the behavioral side of that piece of the triangle done. Our PBIS program fits and lends itself naturally into the MTSS framework. The first year, we are going to really work on the professional development, creating a team, a leadership team to help establish and walk everyone through this process. We are currently working on and will continue to work on solidifying our universal screeners and our data analysis tools and develop that MTSS framework and goals for the program. Target year 2, we're hoping to implement, or we're aiming to implement the MTSS framework. That may be just ELA, that may be math, but by the 3rd year, we want to have the full framework implemented for both math and English language arts.
So this is us taking the data that we've been analyzing and putting it to use and finding appropriate interventions for the kids that need them. And I know, Dr. Zawadi, you've mentioned that it's going to help.
Yeah, so it's going to be helpful in the special education department because we're going to know that students have been through these tiers of intervention before they're referred for special education evaluations. So we're going to, by the time they get to that evaluation stage, we're going to already have a better understanding and a better data of where they're at, so we can identify if it's a true disability or if it's just a child that needed the instruction in a slightly different way. So that's going to be really helpful with the who is being being referred for an evaluation. Like when they get to that point, I'll already know that they've had research-based systematic interventions before they even get to that point.
The multi-tiered system of supports, is that something that's managed by like PDE or PSBA? Like nothing stays the same for more than a couple of years. I'm just curious, like if that tool will change and you guys will just flow.
It's more of a framework.
Okay.
I would say it evolved from, it used to be RTI, response to intervention, then RTII. MTSS, I would say, has been standing strong the past, oh goodness, decade. Like this isn't a fad. This is research-based best practices for the academic and behavioral interventions and supports programs. The guidance for it, I mean, there are resources from the IU and from the state.
That we plan to use,
Yep.
Things change with
Yeah,
time.
no,
So-
yeah, great.
Well, and one thing that we always talk about, like, this is a 3-year plan,
Sure.
but it's a living document.
Absolutely.
If we need to make adjustments to that, we can do that.
Thank you.
Our third goal focuses on improving classroom management strategies to meet the needs of students and provide a safe and positive learning environment. That was something else that stood out from the information we gathered through surveys and through other things that we looked at. In the first year, we'll be focusing on providing professional development on responsive classrooms, utilizing student Swiss data, and plan to create a safe, positive, and productive classroom environment for all students. This is something that the team has already been laying the framework for getting the teacher buy-in to some of the responsive classroom things. There's some really nice things happening already, and some teachers really excited about looking at this. And they've we had a small group of teachers that were already kind of like, hey, this sounds like it's going to meet our needs. They're doing some book studies, doing some different things, doing some of that research even on their own, to be like, this is something that we think would benefit us as teachers and benefit our students. And I think that we're going to be able to pull that in and provide the training and provide the supports that teachers need to help them utilize those strategies. Going into the second year, it will be continuing building the training and really providing teachers the opportunity to practice some of those skills and practice the things that they're learning, which will continue on to the third year, where it's one of those things that it's you learn it, but you have to practice it. You have to work with your colleagues to see what's working in their classrooms and just kind of build upon that. And I think over that 3 years, we're really going to, I hope, see some really nice positive changes with that.
And it's a proactive approach to classroom management. We've been working on the consequences and the outcomes and the positive reinforcement program for issues that come up in the classroom or don't come up in the classroom. This is a getting teachers to create relationships with students to better understand their students.
I think something that I find extremely exciting about this plan is we've spent a lot of time putting kind of the foundation in with explaining the why behind the data analysis, or getting the tools, or doing the PD on classroom management and these types of things. And this is more actionable. This is putting all of that professional development and professional learning that we've done with our staff into action and things that we can actually be doing further to improve academics and behaviors within the school.
So along with that, I said a technology plan. Essentially, the technology director supports the testing portion of this, the CDTs with the testing going online, having in place the infrastructure. We have the new Chromebooks, ensuring that the teachers have the rosters and the online test materials to provide that. So that goes along with, that's kind of underlying the use of online testing, which we hope, if we practice that type of testing enough with our students, that we'll see an improvement in scores just by function. But with our curriculum being aligned to what the testing is, I think that will help. I think the MTSS, I've seen great strides in behaviors in classrooms over the last few years since COVID. You know, we had that period when kids were out and it was difficult coming back in. But, you know, and I'm saying that anecdotally. We have less time spent on that. We still spend a good bit of time on student discipline, but it's different. It feels different now. Events are different now. So hopefully.
And I was going to say, just as I said with the academic piece, the MTSS with the behavioral piece too, like we'll have some layers that we're consistently putting into place for the students that need it. And we have, you know, if we have students that are not able to respond to those, then we know they're going to need something more intensive. But we have we'll have a systematic approach for how to support those behaviors as they're coming up. And then if that's, you know, doesn't meet their need, that'll give us plenty of information to try to figure out what would meet their needs.
I like it.
So the next steps for this, you know, and again, this plan isn't like the detailed action plan. This is the framework from which we're working from, right? There's a lot more that goes into each one of these goals. The next steps for this is we'll post it on the website. You know, be available for public review and comment. It'll come back to the board in committee and board meeting next month, and that's when we'll recommend it for approval. But that's the plan.
Thank you all so much, and just want to name, you know, they had to start this process once data came out in November, December, so it's a pretty quick turnaround to analyze all the data and then turn that into this. So thank you very much for all the work on this. For the rest of the board, like Doug just shared, it's kind of open for public review for the next 4 weeks or so. Doug, it's open for public comment. How does the public youth comment on the plan?
I'll make sure when I put it on the website and post it to Facebook that we'll give a contact email so people can write in.
Great, thank you. I think if, you know, if we on the board have more time to digest, if you have questions or things that come up, you know, we can just start that discussion together and offer that feedback. But as they named, we're gonna vote on it next month. And it is a living document, but we definitely want to weigh it now as we're looking at the high-level plan.
I would like to make a comment as you're looking through some of the strengths and challenges. There's a section that says check for consideration in the plan, and you'll see some of them say false, and you're like, well, that should be something they're focusing on. You have to list, it pulls in all these things that you list that when you're analyzing data, and it would take us 3 years just to write the plan if we made each one its separate category. So the ones that are false actually fall under or embedded into the true ones. So they are being considered, they just fall into one that says true. And if you look, I'm on page 24, 25, because we're looking at it, we're like, well, that's getting addressed, but they're embedded into the other categories that are marked true.
On the goals and action plan, how are we measuring?
That's all in there. After page 2930, there's the action plan.
I don't see KPIs or how you're going to measure it. What are we going to say? Okay, it was successful. So what do we got to hit for it to be successful?
The monitoring.
Just hit the 2028. Oh, we're done, and now that was successful.
There are things that we have to do to monitor along the way.
But that's what I'm asking. What are those metrics that we're going to report against? Hard metrics that we know that this is what we agreed to measure, and this is how we're measuring against those goals.
Go back to the old one.
This is what I was thinking with that MTSS. Now, is that like an actual, like you said, the triangle, like a pyramid on how it all works? So that is taking data and then you're kind of flow charting with what comes in. Now that MTSS provides that kind of flow chart?
Within the tool, it's not available to this one yet because it's not
In effect.
This is our current plan. And essentially, this is how, like,
We have to go back and
you come
review.
together and meet and review each of those goals. I mean, we're kind of working within their,
Framework, I get that,
It's such a
it
30,000
just,
foot
I mean,
view
that first
that
one,
you're not going to get
communication
into
and more.
percentages.
So if you go
of-
back up, because communication was one that we started. So your one,
but
like
according to
what
the
the target
surveys
is,
that we put out,
and then
that's
what we
still
actually,
a goal.
what we actually did in year one is in that second box to your left. Like, the target was up above, then what we actually did when we review, we go back and look. Did we do this year? So like, one of the goals is updating the website. So when we go back after year one, did we update the website? What things did we do? Are there things that, in the summary notes, things that we still need to fix? Like, that's different than the MTSS and the responsive classroom.
And some, like even with those, like the classroom management, responsive classroom stuff, like when you were looking back on the first year, like what professional development were we able to provide? Was there something we wanted to provide and we didn't for, whatever reason? Or did we discover through that, like, actually we need something a little bit more here? We don't know that now because we haven't started it. It's one of those things that you kind of discover as you're working through it to see what the need is. And I think that part of that is why it's stretched out over 3 years and why it's a working document is because you're going to discover some things as you go along. Like the same with the communication piece, like, we'll think we'll figure some things out and then we might hear something different from parents to be like, this is better, but this still needs a little bit more work,
Or a new tool comes out that would be better, would better serve our
or
stakeholders.
we think that we fixed the website, this is great, and then we start hearing, things from parents or from the community to be like, well, you fixed this thing, but now we're confused about this other part. So some of that is just going to happen through our conversations and through, other surveys that we do for other things that we get those types of feedback. But I think it's something that's designed to be something that evolves over that 3 years and changes as the needs change.
And we also talked about doing the survey annually, not just every 3 years when the plan is due.
Yeah, this is something we didn't have on the last plan. It's within the communication steps of the new plan. The end of each plan year, review implementation of plans in progress, presentation of board meeting and posted minutes, public and board summary of each plan year. So we didn't have a public meeting the last time. This time, I added this to the plan. So each summer at the end of a plan year would come together and say, this is where we are. And that would be before we put in the monitoring to say, because we should have a survey at that point, did we meet that goal? Not in our opinion, but did we meet that goal objectively based on survey and public discourse?
Okay. So that's how you're gonna do the communication?
Yeah. Well, that's the last step in that,
Okay.
yeah, is to have that, so.
Alright.
Yeah, Scott, I think it's a really good push. It's something we talked about in the steering committee meeting and in the curriculum committee meeting. And I think one of the pitfalls we wanted to avoid as well was potentially coming up with numbers that like were kind of pulled out of the air or may not
Unattainable.
be what we need to shoot for. And so one of the things that I know I'm going to be looking for when we get into more detailed action planning is like once we have some more information as they get into establishing these systems to create some more quantifiable goals. Because I agree with you, I want to make sure that we know if we're on or off track and that we can celebrate, if we get there. So I share your thoughts there.
And the thing is, you don't want to set a goal that's unrealistic that you're never going to meet either. So, it's good to set a high goal, but it's also kind of deflating if you're never ever going to be able to meet that goal, right? So it's a balance.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Sean. Anything else here before we move on? Okay, do we have any public input?
No, not at this time.
Okay. We don't have a need for an executive session at this time, so we can roll into the regular board agenda. Just a reminder to the board, I know we talked about being efficient, anything that you can pull through things together, go for it. John, you know, it's my first time running a meeting, so please let me know if there's something we need to roll call that I missed.
Just watch the time, we gotta be out of here.
I make a motion for omnibus.
Is there a second out there?
Give us 1 second.
What about personnel B? Do we want to pull that out?
Do you have about question documentation?
John, with taking a full omnibus, would item 14, does he have the agenda? Under transportation, item A, would that be something?
I think if there's any question, I prefer you to pull it out.
I think 14A would be something, Mary, at least we would wanna pull for a roll call.
Agreed.
And then we have,
Okay, so omnibus with pulling out 14A. Is that the motion now?
Yep.
what about 12B? We have the individual. I mean, it's a new hire.
What do you think, John? 12B?
I feel better if there's any questions that we pull them out, so
Okay.
this section.
We probably would have been through most of this.
All right, Heather, you want to revise the motion?
12B and 14A.
I make a motion for an omnibus excluding 12B and 14A.
Second?
All right, motion and a second, so we'll take the omnibus vote first. Approving all the items besides 12B and 14A. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, motion's carried.
Anthony, you were the second on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so we'll go to 12B, personnel. Amanda, you want to read that?
The Personnel Committee recommends the hiring of Emma Byler as a special education teacher to begin on August 18th, 2025 at Bachelor Step 1 with 0 credits with a salary of $64,155, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Derlin? Yes. Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Anna?
Yes.
Hoover?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Murray?
Yes.
Nolan?
Yes.
7 yeses, 0 nos.
Motion carries. Now we'll go to 14A. I don't know who sits on that committee besides Gabe.
I can do that one.
Thank you.
Administration recommends the removal of Douglas Tennant from the list of approved school bus drivers, and I so move.
Second.
Whoever wants it.
Anthony second.
Anthony, all right.
Motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Derlin?
Yes.
Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Anna?
Yes.
Hoover?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Murray?
Yes.
Nolan?
Yes.
7 yeses, 0 nos.
Motion carries. Any board reports tonight? I'll start with Mr. Fitzgerald.
Nothing.
Ms. Hoover?
Well,
missed
Skipped over
Anthony.
Anthony.
Wow.
Oh, sorry, Anthony, I
Thump,
can't
thump.
see you, you're in the corner.
Jeez.
That was a big bump too.
Just congrats to all the student athletes. And, you know, this is our first year with our varsity girls wrestling program, and we have a PIAA District 4 champion at 190 with Kayla Fowler, so that's awesome, first year. So hopefully that keeps growing. That's all.
Awesome, thank you, Anthony, sorry about that.
That's
Amanda?
I just want to say congratulations to all the athletes and thank you for everybody that has made the slide available to the elementary and now to the high school, and I'm sure they will enjoy it as much as we did in the elementary.
Shelley?
She's not here.
Thank you.
She is here. She is here.
Next would be Heather, I think.
I have nothing in addition.
Same, nothing in addition. Did I miss anyone?
Scott.
Scott.
Scott? Oh, man. Go ahead, Scott.
Just congratulations, Tori Marani, Student of the Month. Congratulations to all those student athletes, great. And it's awesome that the elementary got to go to the slide, and now the high schoolers. Thank you to Lions Club, Kiwanis, and I believe student government. I think I hit them all there, so thank you all very much. And for the administration for helping to arrange that and push that, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And thanks for the report and on the comprehensive plan and sitting through our questions on that as well. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Awesome, thanks everyone. Have any public shown up?
One.
I actually do have.
Okay.
For 9C, was there someone added to the list of volunteer coaches?
It'd be Logan Riefender. Is that how you pronounce his name?
Yeah. Close.
I'll give you all the names.
Okay, because I also have for 12C and D, the name.
Yep. The acceptance with regret of a letter of retirement from Marilyn Sisop, and the acceptance with regret of a letter of resignation from Stacy McBride.
Russell, since you mentioned that, thank you to both of them for all their hard work while they were here, and their Maryland for many years of service, and Stacy for the time in which they were here. They were both a great asset to the district and will be.
Thanks everyone. Okay, and with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion. Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thanks everyone, we're adjourned.
Thank you.
If anybody